Have you ever needed a supportive community in your journey to advance racial equity, stop and prevent oppression, and catalyze change in your life or your organization? Join us in our online community at intentionallyact.com. As James Baldwin wrote, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced." Join us online to confront the challenging questions and situations in your journey to advance racial equity as we build community to offer professional, personal, and organizational development, skills, and knowledge.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Atia Martin. Welcome to Intentionally Act Now, a podcast that supports the All Aces mission to activate consciousness, catalyze critical thinking, and transform capabilities that advance racial equity and build resilience within ourselves and our organizations. We feature a wide variety of leading experts in diversity, equity, and inclusion, conflict management, critical race theory, personal growth, and more.
This is host Enrico E. Manalo. Maddie Chism, project manager at All Aces Inc., hosted Nataka Crayton-Walker, operations manager of the Urban Farming Institute, in this episode of Intentionally Act Live, formerly All Aces On Air, that explores the intersection of urban farming and racial equity, the history of UFI, what food sovereignty means, as well as the thinking behind the grow everywhere mentality. Maddie and Crayton-Walker also explore the role of collective care in Urban Farming Institute's approach to farming, as well as what it takes to mitigate suffering. Join us on intentionallyact.com to keep this conversation going with your thoughts, comments, and questions.
Welcome to All Aces On Air. If you are a returning viewer, you're probably noticing that I am not Rico. I am, in fact, Maddie Chism, the new project manager at All Aces. And with me today, I have the lovely Nataka Crayton from the Urban Farming Institute. Hi, Nataka.
Hi, nice to see you again.
You too. How are you today?
I'm actually great. Like the sun is shining.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a little gloomy, but like the sun is shining right now. So I'm doing good.
Oh, you have that nice glow on your
Yeah,
skin.
and totally just honored to be here. I definitely was a little nervous because it's live, but I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely. And I'm glad we're doing it together. It's our first time together.
Me too.
So I just want to start out with asking you a little bit about what the Urban Farming Institute does. Can you just explain, just to give a quick overview for those who don't know?
Yeah, so just really building and promoting urban farming, and then also really engaging residents around building a healthier community. So any way we can partner with other organizations to do that, and we provide all kinds of like really cool stuff. COVID was a little crazy, but mostly we still, we got our Fit on Our Farm for our seniors, where they both learn about nutrition and then also do exercises and then meet new friends. And then we also train folks in farming. So we have a class that we offer in March, and we accept about 25 students. And then after that, we select up to 10 to do our summer hands-on program and lots of other stuff. We generally, outside of COVID, engage, a good 800 or more volunteers who come through here, both young people, corporations, students from colleges, just to really get their hands in the dirt and give service, along with other things. We got an enterprise program. We do other kinds of workshops, like Hike for Life combines with us and does this thing where we're going hiking, but we're learning about medicine. So it's really good. We do a lot of really great stuff. And, COVID's been a little challenging, but we still have been able to offer things to the community, and very excited to be able to do that.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it. I'm sorry that COVID has been kind of put a damper on everything.
I mean, unimaginable, really. It's not something that we would have ever imagined in our lifetime, But hey, having a Black president wasn't either. I was like, I wish my daddy was here so I could share with him. He would have been so excited. But we're resilient, and many people, unfortunately, have lost their lives. And so I definitely encourage people to stay safe and keep your family safe. And whatever the recommendations are, maintain that so we can, get to the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about the enterprise program, if you would mind sharing a little bit more.
Yeah, so specifically, it's really when you're setting up a business, it's like how do you bring your product or idea into the marketplace? And so, actually, funniest thing, it started before U of I, because before U of I, there was City Growers. It was one of Boston's like first enterprise programs, urban farming enterprise programs, and so it didn't exactly work out the way it was supposed to, but so many beautiful things that we learned along the way. And as we were developing the Urban Farming Institute to really support farmers and urban farming in the city of Boston, we basically, took hold of City Growers, and City Growers, the enterprise, became a part of UFI. And so we sell to restaurants. And I just have to give shout outs and blessings to those who businesses who have not made it through COVID. I think that's important. So many really awesome humans, but also like selling to restaurants. We have a market. What's this ugly hot sauce? Like it was an ugly hot sauce. So we've done hot sauces and tomato sauces through Commonwealth Kitchen. But it's really trying to figure out, most organizations struggle with sustainability because we rely a lot and heavily on grants and foundations, which during COVID actually hasn't been a bad thing either. And many of them have stepped up to support. But we also need to think about the future. And so with the building of the enterprise, it's like, okay, where do we want to go? Like sell mushrooms? Like, what do we want to do? Like, and we also continue to train people under our farm training program, which then we give them business development training. And then they get to be the next future, enterprisers, right? Where they're now building business. They're now, whether it's a flower or an herbal or, so it's really exciting. And COVID has definitely expanded innovation. Like, if you're willing and you believe in your mission and you ask for help, like it's really caused some of the things we always talked about to really help sustain, but it's really forced in some ways to really take those things on. So we had like an online farm stand, greenhouse for the first time ever in our history, because we didn't have a home at Urban Farming Institute. So when we moved into the Fowler Clark Epstein farm, which is, partnered with Historic Boston and a few others, it just changed a whole lot. It made us still able to provide produce, but not just produce, also seedlings for new growers and old growers, curbside. So it challenged us in so many ways, but it's been great in that way, because you can't grow without learning, and trying new things. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell.
Absolutely. I am curious about the online farm stand. Is that's new due to COVID?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've always been talking about, so we're a small band of people. And when people see us, they think that like, we're a whole bunch of people. We're not. Like, we're a small band. And so we've always been thinking about like markets and being in markets, and is that really working? Mm-hmm. And so in some cases it's not. Like if it was mostly education, but we also want to teach people how to grow and make money, and then also as an organization, we want to sustain ourselves. So yeah, when we got the greenhouse, it was like, okay, why not? I mean, we can't be in the same room with you. You can't like be hanging out at the farm stand buying veggies and when that stuff all erupted. So ingenuity and resilience based on blessings that we've been given from others, and those who have made the greenhouse possible. So you order online. Even our last event we had Friday, our Thanksgiving market, you could pre-order online for curbside delivery. You can come the same day. So it was just really it's just crazy. Like it's opened up doorways in so many ways that we didn't imagine. And I'm not saying that everything's perfect, COVID is still hard, but we are resilient.
You are resilient. Definitely. I think that model really speaks to the resilience of the Urban Farming Institute. Do you see that as something that would go beyond COVID? Do you see that continuing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Exponentially. And when you talk about, again, being less dependent on asking people for money and being more dependent on your own capacity to grow and to make money. And I don't mean, it's not really about money, but I just want,
like you said, sustainable.
Exactly. So yeah, for sure. And I think other things too, when that mind gets to be open, it's like, okay, well, what's next? and why not? I think that was Enrico's rock that he showed us. He's like, why not?
That's a good rock.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I would love to ask you about what made you fall in love with what you do. Just kind of the story.
Okay. I have to be brief, I would just say being young. When I was young, like the earth was kind of my playground. My parents worked very hard and were not home a lot. And so I spent a lot of my time outside. And I also know what it is to be hungry. And so when you think about falling in love with anything that has you be in a place where you could really help people, that's central. Like I want my life live with purpose and able to help people, and I feel like my life is a life of service. So to be in an organization where you could do the work you love and feed people and teach people, it's just amazing. So I continue to fall in love, actually, like over and over again. So, I mean, many reasons why, when you ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing, I'm asking myself, the why, and the why is important. So I try to stay reasonably in touch with my why.
It sounds like you are very much in touch with your why. And I am so happy that you continue to fall in love with what you do. I think that's lovely, and that's should be what everyone strives for. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, and I'll say too, like the striving, sometimes life has it be where it just opens it up to you. And being in farming somehow opens that up in a way. So, yeah. So I think the more people come to the farm, more people get their hands in the dirt, I feel like the more opportunity that we have to answer our reasons why, as the land sometimes teaches you when you don't expect to be taught about your why. So, yeah.
So how did you transition from gardening to farming with the Urban Farming Institute?
Random? No, nothing's random. So we were involved in some, I had met a really beautiful human, me and my husband both. And so even before that, I guess, me and my husband wanted to start a farmer's market in our neighborhood. And one, we were too new. Two, in some ways, it was kind of too hood in ways for some farmers to come out from other neighborhoods, which, there wasn't a lot of urban farming in Boston in that way. There's a great food project that's around, but mostly it wasn't happening. And so we decided that we would become farmers. And then after that, we met this beautiful sister, and I can't really remember the name of the group. It's almost like the Unconference, but it was really a way to convene around environmental justice. And they were like, yo, you can't talk about environment without talking about the people. And then we met Glenn Lloyd, who was telling us about the project, and we were like excited. City Fresh Foods is one of the companies that him and his brother started. And so they really had this vision that the food that was generated from what they had already kind of started a farm would be to support that organization. And a year later, it was about a year later, it just became this thing. It's like, okay, why not? And that just changed everything. I mean, I was mostly like an administrator and in finance before then. And then one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I need to be in the earth. So it kind of went from that and meeting Glenn, and then a whole team of people who really helped to define what kind of organization we wanted to create in order to support future of farming. And then that also included supporting training the next generation of farmers. So it just, everything happened. You know how when that thing happens and you step through that doorway, you're either going to step through it or you don't. Mm-hmm. And then we decided, and it was like, oh my God, this has just changed the whole sort of life. Like composting, we got quail, probably gonna get chickens and bees and stuff. So yeah, I mean, and so many things to have learned along the way, and that could be a whole nother session, and maybe teamed up on a panel with just new organizations and building them and building coalitions, really how to address, health and wellness outcomes in our community, economic development. So, it continues to be a thing that still has the brain going and is still calling for the question of why. So, yeah.
Or the why not?
Why not? And then the why not. yeah, it should always be like, why not? For sure.
What was it like, or let me reframe. How has it been watching urban farming grow throughout the city of Boston?
I would say great. And I would also say so many areas of opportunity that still exist. So community gardens have been here for a really long time. So there are lots, and that's considered farming still. Like if you go to the country, a lot of elders will still call their farms that are like a few acres, many acres, a garden. So yeah, I think too, like with every organization, just I could also see that there could be a lot more partnerships and collabs. It's just sometimes when people are like, I don't know, organizations just trying to figure out like how to stay viable and supporting their own endeavors. But I could totally see, you know, more partnership, more collaboration. But it's really great to see people grow. Like there's this Hope Garden that's off of Geneva Ave. And it also is combined with some really great humans who have both aquaponics, there's like a fish thing in it. And if you travel down the street, you would never imagine, like never, until you step foot in there, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like small space, grand possibilities. And mostly just witnessing is enough. And then beyond that, opportunities to get involved. So I definitely, I continue to be very hopeful about just more food, more farms, but also same way. I also want like people of color to not get left out of, you know, the other games around urban farming and vertical growing and different things that like access to capital is not as much. And so, or in some cases really not available. And so I just want to see it grow, but grow with the people and grow for the people and not private industry money makers who at the end of the day don't care whether you eat or pay your rent.
Those guys.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, maybe there could be some that, I don't know, you can appeal to their hearts and be like, yeah, this could be real partnerships. But at the end of it, I also want not just people to have jobs, but people to actually own a portion of that business entity, you know? So then there's like, yeah, future investment in the people, not just, you know, a job. But jobs will be cool too, because, you know, we don't really have no new industry. Walmart can't come here. So
No, kidding. How do you cultivate people through urban farming, or how does the Urban Farming Institute cultivate people?
well, definitely, you know, cultivation is for me anyway, in terms of personally and with organization, it's about caring for people. It's about caring for people's welfare, and then okay, being like whole and the craftiness of like thinking about like what do we do in order to create this healthy communities so that people get to live and eat and be healthy. It's yeah, I think it's mostly through love. The cultivation starts with love and then a plan. And the people should be a part of the plan. And so a lot of times, in as much as we cultivated all this land before when it was stolen, you know, from Native Americans and indigenous people, you know, all that cultivation, while we've made lots of great inventions around it, still also took more than it needed. And then some didn't have and many did, you know, so, or many didn't and a few had. So I feel like cultivation is, yeah. So, I mean, through the Urban Farming Institute, like having seniors be excited about our Fit on the Farm program, meeting new people, laughing, giggling from all cultures and all walks of life. Now they got new friends that they can talk trash to, but also share recipes and share like history of how they grew up with farming, you know. So just really cultivation, I don't think has to be physical. I feel like it just could be also just providing space and place for people to gather and people to learn and people to share experiences. Yeah, I think in addition to that, I think my speaker's a little interesting. Can you hear the tech on my speaker? Okay, that's
Oh
better.
no, I didn't hear it.
I did. Sound like an alien. But yeah, so really, yeah, just like being able to provide opportunities for me is cultivation. seeing the human spirit and what's possible and sharing what you've learned that is possible, it is a matter of cultivation, and then if you're blessed to have resources to be able to share that with others, that's even more than just cultivation. It results in harvest, that people can harvest, the things that come from their own hands and the things that come from their own effort. So cultivation can be looked at many different ways, but I feel like in the beginning, it's really a thought about things. And I feel like it's led by the spirit and should be definitely be led by overall love and compassion for humanity.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Along the lines of spirit and love for humanity, in a couple of our previous conversations, we have talked about food as medicine and food as healing. And I'd love to ask you a little bit more about that. How does that show up in your work?
Wow, like unpredictable. I mean, to even know that certain things have medicine, like, just eating alone is medicine because we can't live unless we eat. So just on a basic level, food is medicine. And on other levels, like about 95% of everything we have here on the farm that some might consider weeds or are not familiar with, they hold so much medicine that has been in many people's cultural traditions. And it kind of just enables a way to return to those traditions where earth is the pharmacy, and everything that you need. Like when COVID happened, I was researching on chicory and all these things that were popped up during the same time. And I was like, whoa, how could it be that, dandelions and they're up now. And their properties are like everything from, cleansing out to malaria. So it's just, I feel like it's just a constant discovery. And so, we just continue to promote it, and we have some really cool humans who've come through our training and also, our teaching. They've started schools, so it's really cool.
Thank you for that. I didn't know that about dandelions. That is.
Yeah, it's an Ayurvedic. So is, oh my God, never mind. I'm about to, so I wasn't prepared for that one, but it's among many. Okay, the yellow docks and the burdocks. Okay, I got it. But yeah, good for kidney, good for liver, and other things that are really good for immunity boosting. So it's learning a lot, and the earth teaches you so many things if you're willing to just get your hands in it. And so
I agree. For me, I think that's one of my favorite things about farming and gardening, just constantly learning from the earth and all the plants and things that you could never expect to be taught.
Yeah, we're that far removed from probably people having lived that life. Not probably, but our ancestors having lived that life. They went to the local herb. You still see people even now, like having plastic bags and walking down a neighborhood, collecting things from your garden or your front yard, because in their country, it's medicine. Mm-hmm. And while we may want to get rid of it because it's a weed and we want beautiful grass, they're like, this is medicine. So yeah, it's cool exploring and learning for sure.
Absolutely. That reminds me of a story of our dear shared friend, Miles. He collected a bunch of peppers to make his fire sauce recently. And he just took them from someone else's garden that had left them to rot. So
can you please tell him if he could just give me a tiny sample? So I'm like hot pepper queen, just a little sample.
Absolutely. Miles, if you're watching this, please send.
Yeah, he also, when I first met you guys, he also exposed me to acorns. Yeah. So as binding agents, and then there's another one that he introduced us to. So when you talk about using alternatives for eggs and dairy, so you could make flour out of acorns. And so right now I had a neighbor who brought me a big old bag of acorns, and hopefully this time I succeed. Yeah.
From my knowledge, that takes a lot of work.
It does. But it's exciting to learn for sure.
Really.
And he loves to share.
Fun journey. I would love to switch gears and talk a little bit about food agency as an equity issue and why why it is an equity issue.
Interesting. You know, when you guys first brought me the word of agency, it's not a word that I generally like use, right? And so I had to really think about like what agency is as we think about agency. And I was like, my whole body is an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to have what you need in order to fill your body and give your body what it needs, and to in life, and you know, your family, and provide for them, like food, and not being able to make decisions about that for yourself is not equitable.
Not at all.
You know, that some have and some don't, that decisions are made about who gets a job and who doesn't based on your zip code. So, you know, being agents for our own self and in agency with ourselves, initiatives I feel like that support people's ability to have exactly what they need in order to be happy and whole and healthy. In addition to also take advantage of economic prosperity, you know, so I guess agency could be wide and broad, you know, and I just hope for people, for us to continue to learn what's possible through some of the works that we do and some of the great works that others do, including you guys, you know, but really, yeah, just having the capacity, you know, we already have the capacity to learn our abilities, to learn new abilities in order to facilitate us being like, yo, the best crafters of our future, you know, is what agency for me means. And equity, really, I was thinking about the other day, I was like, you know, you wouldn't need access to anything if you grow your own food, right?
Right.
You wouldn't need to have a conversation about inclusion where you're already a part of the process. Then institutions don't have to worry about how they include people. You're just automatically there because you have a say in what happens to you, and should. So that's also next level agency, that you should have, everybody should have the power to determine their own destiny plus the community. So, you know, yeah, so I guess.
I love what you just said. You wouldn't have to have conversations about inclusion if you were making the decisions. Is that?
Exactly. Because someone decides whether they include you or not, or feel bad because they don't. Then they have to figure out how to. And they get professionals to come in and share how they can be more inclusive. But there wouldn't be a need for that if people were already included and already a part of the process and have ownership and have agency. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. While thinking about everything that you just said, what does your imagined foodscape look like? What would you, in Nataka's perfect world, what could you imagine for people growing their own food?
What would I imagine? I would definitely say more people growing food, and also like cities and states, willingness, or no, not us, taking agency and determining that it's not illegal to grow your own food. You know, before Article 89 here in Boston, legit, it was like illegal, not in a community gardenscape, but in kind of economic urban farming, quote unquote, to make money. But I definitely see more partnerships. I really want to see meaningful partnerships, you know, where organizations and institutions are coming together and really sharing resources and figuring out like, how do we really impact change in our community? How do we really bring about health and wellness in our community as we talk about and use the data around who's got diabetes and who doesn't, you know, to really be able to, and it's really hard while you're in survival mode. And I feel like we're still in, so I would like us to not be, okay, simultaneously, okay, fine, survival mode, you're not gonna like toss that while you've lived it, right? But simultaneously really try to figure out how to work together. So I see lots of collaboration. I see more equitable development where both, you know, community members, city, state, even realtors, right, who determine many things. They determine our zip codes, whether we get into college or we don't. But I really would love to see more equitable development, which has more gardens and has more farm. And yeah, just ways to get other people to grow. Like if you can grow your own food, that's one less thing that you have to rely on someone else to provide for you and your family. And it may be the decision between paying a bill or paying your rent and eating. at the end of the day, or what you feed your children. So definitely more collaborations, more partnerships, more growing food, more training people to grow food. So yeah, more farmland, not more buildings unless we really need it. So we don't have homelessness, if that's the real issue. So yeah.
What are some of the current community partnerships that the Urban Farming Institute has?
So we have a number of them, which include like Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. We partnered with Mattapan Coalition for Food and Fitness. There are many, and I suppose if I was the ED, I'd probably be able to spit it out really well, but we do have many. And also everyone who we bring in to do a lot of our workshops are local community people. So those are also our partners. Our Fit on the Farm, people who come into our training program and offer up their knowledge and skills. Lots of foundations, really lots of great people. So I'll just have to, I wasn't prepared. I don't think I prepared myself for that, but
yes. I didn't mean to throw a curveball.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's fine. And because I do believe in it, and we do. I think we hold it. You have to have those. And when I speak about it, I also want to expand that. It's not about just getting a check to support the work you do, but it really is, how do we determine together whether or not we're making real impact in our community, and in what ways can we further do that together that doesn't just look like everybody's all set. And then maybe if we share resources and figure out how to do some stuff, then we won't have to worry about individual organizations like struggling, but it's work. It's good work though.
It's the good work.
It is the good work. Yes, it is the good work. But yeah. It's exciting. For sure.
It is very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Still get to learn new things, Yeah. And figure out how to work it and make it work.
Work it and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Life's all about just learning new things and working it and making it work.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, we did that today.
Oh, yes, we did. We're still doing it.
Yes, for sure.
In our humanity. Yes, we're still doing it.
Yeah, so it's a blessing for sure. And I wouldn't have my life be any other way. And then I also never imagined my life like this. So
yeah,
I'm really happy to be able to learn, to grow, to teach. And yeah, definitely look us up on Urban Farming Institute. Check out our website. We're definitely on Facebook. Any thoughts you have even about things that you would like to see us be able to provide for community, please let us know, and definitely have mad prayers out around just us getting to beyond COVID. And, that's like.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
For sure.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yes.
What advice would you have for someone that is just learning how to grow or starting out growing?
Start somewhere. Start small.
Mm-hmm.
Small is good. Some people are hardcore and they can't help themselves. So then go hard. So I would just say, if you have a sense of it, take a small class. There are several classes that we offer here at the Urban Farming Institute, but also the Food Project has courses, and just basics of like just learning how to think about your space. So thinking about what space you have, small or little. There's all kinds of, I never imagined myself living the pot life. So even though I have access to like farmland, I'm still living a pot life. Planters.
Yeah.
So I don't want nobody to tune in and be like, what you talking about?
Maybe.
So you can start small. Yeah, in pots. But you can start really small, like whether it's a kale or collard green. A kale doesn't require more than 12 inches in a pot, growing herbs in your house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just say start somewhere, and definitely seek us out. And, we do have classes here, and be happy to. Some people just call. Some people don't take a class and they just call, or they just come. So it's like, if you're really thinking it and you're feeling it, just do it. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if someone were looking to take classes, they could go to your website and find the information that they needed?
Yep. So underneath our programs, yeah, we have, so right now, by December, we'll have all our workshops, but for the farm training program, it's March, it's a 9-week class. And then we have a 20-week hands-on. So technically it's a 29-week program, but in order to do the hands-on training in the summer, which starts in June, goes through October, you have to do our 9-week class. So the 9-week is little less hands-on. Now that we have the greenhouse, we're hoping and thinking that we could bring in a little more hands-on during the 9 weeks, because some people are like, I just want to get my hands in the ground. So yeah, definitely look us up and stay tuned for like the winter time. So usually by end of December, we have a full scale, just a full outline of the workshops that we'll be offering as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I'm definitely
And so happy to grow. Huh?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was like, oh, it's just such a blessing to still have been able to grow, to be considered essential in life, providing fruits and vegetables and good stuff for people. That was a blessing because, yeah.
Really. How new is your greenhouse? Was that?
This year.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was finished by like February, March. And usually you start, if you have a greenhouse, you usually start, or in growing indoors, you start around February, with most planting kind of going in the ground by like April, May. Yeah. So, yep, it is definitely new and it's exciting. So we have some stuff growing in there now. I was like earlier, I was like, I wish I could bring you to the greenhouse. I wish I could show everybody the space we have over here, but yeah, so this year was definitely the first. And 2018 was when we moved in here. So we really hadn't had a home as an institute, but we had farms and we were teaching people how to grow. So it was a blessing to have a partnership with HBI, Historic Boston, really help this preserve this historic place. And then also, have us to keep the work going around what was intended for, which is farming. Yes.
I'm glad you guys have a home now.
We are too. Cool. So yeah, we definitely have to hook up, meet up.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know when because of COVID, but as soon as it's safe, I'd love to take a class, some farming classes, and hang out with you.
Yeah, well, everything's on Zoom.
Your farming classes are on Zoom?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to sign up tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, COVID had some things, and that was one of those things. Innovation, which we will also continue to ask that earlier about things that will continue. We're like, yeah, if we get to expand the amount of people, sometimes we have hundreds of people who actually email us about doing our program. And we do have high level, especially the hands-on priority in general for, people who live here. And then also people of color and Black people in particular, like that is a major, emphasis. But in general, all exceptional, all great people are welcome. And it's on Zoom. And yeah, we're hoping to do some more stuff on Zoom. And yeah.
I mean, I should have put that together, but I didn't. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it was so weird. I think it was weird for everybody, the Zoom thing.
Do you feel like the same? I mean, obviously it's not the same kind of interaction, but do you feel like the lessons are being received in the same way?
I do. Yeah, we do evaluations at the end. And then also we had like a session after the class, like a half-hour session where people could just hang out in the room and just talk about anything or ask questions. And yeah, definitely. Even our trainees who we selected, we could only select 3 this year because of COVID. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought that the synergy and trying to feel out the people before we select them would be any different. And it really wasn't. And they were 3 amazing humans, who were bonded and have friendships and still to this day, like support each other. So yeah, we thought it might, but it didn't.
That's really
cool. And I think sometimes it's about what you really want to get out of things.
Mm-hmm.
Some people in our classes, not many, but some people really wanted a little more technicalness like a class would give, like, being in university studies. We're just earth people, we're dirt people. So, you're going to get a little bit of that and mostly just, the experiences that we've had So Tristram, our farm enterprise manager, he's the primary teacher in that class. And then Bobby Walker is the farm trainer. And we just had a great group of people. Yeah. They did a little video testimonial after the program. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I mean, because even with COVID, even being in ground and farming and learning how to farm, you know, there was still distance, you know, and so we also thought that that might be, you know, be a thing. But if, you know, you got land and you can spread out, and we just made it work. So
that's great. Resilience at its finest.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. A blessing. Yep. So have you done any gardening?
Well, I have been moving around quite a bit in the last 8 months. Yes, we're from Baltimore to Massachusetts, now back to the Denver area. I have my indoor plants, my aloes looking pretty nice.
Nice.
But my little brother and I are about to embark on an adventure growing mushrooms inside.
Yeah, this Saturday we just had a mushroom workshop.
I missed it.
It's probably my fault. I should have just known that you would have wanted to know, and I should have just shared it with you. Yeah, but we'll do more for sure. But that's great. No, yeah. So what kind of mushrooms are you guys going to be doing?
He is in charge of that. He's very interested in the lion's mane. Lion's mane, yes. Yep. He's very interested in the healing properties of the lion's mane. And I am all on board. He is another one of my teachers. So he's my little brother, but he's otherworldly. He knows things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very cool. No, it is fun growing mushrooms in the house, but eating them is also more fun.
Mm-hmm. I love mushrooms. Yeah. And I mean, we have our little indoor herb garden, but we just got our first snowfall, so all outdoor growing has ceased. We don't have a greenhouse.
Cold frames.
What was that?
Cold frames.
Cold frame? Yeah,
you could build. Do you have raised beds or you build directly in the ground?
Whoa. That
is a brother question.
That's a brother question.
Nah, because so like if you built a box, you could use window frames to build a cold box frame, which basically is that, you know, the window with the light creates the heat, and then you could use that to actually grow things outside, like mixed greens.
Oh.
Kale.
Give us a fantastic weekend project.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, you said mixed greens, kale.
Yeah, spinach, lettuce, radishes.
Ooh, I love a radish.
Yeah, radishes and authentic Mexican tacos are the best. But yeah, radishes. Yeah, most of your greens. You could try carrots. They might not grow as big, but you can have some baby carrots. Yeah. Yep.
That'll solve another problem that we have, which is the bunnies getting everything. So it'll be raised up. And
yeah, well, if you have cold frames, you don't have to worry about that. But that's mostly for wintertime.
Yeah.
But you could still actually, if your brother or whoever builds them in the way, you could actually remove the window frame and actually have it be fenced in. So then you can just lift it up, and it's already got fences, and you can just lift it up and still grow what you want to grow outside. So anything's possible.
Wow.
And then why not?
And why not? And I think, as you said earlier, grow everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know who we got that from. So I don't know who in the audience is familiar with Mel King, but you should definitely look him up. He's an elder, still very, very involved in community, has done a tech center. He's got the Mel King Institute at MIT. Really amazing human who really helped start the gardening here in Boston. But when me and my husband first met him, he said to us, he said, grow everywhere. He's like, teach people how to grow and grow everywhere. On your balcony. He said even highways, which most people were thinking about the runoffs and all that stuff. But he really just encouraged us to teach people to grow wherever they are and with whatever we have, whatever they have. So, yeah, important.
I think it's very important. It's a really wonderful mentality, mindset to have.
Absolutely. Because then sky's the limit. There's like nothing you can't do, I guess.
Why not?
Why not? For sure.
We're gonna overuse this by the end of.
Why not? No. We'll blame it on
Rico.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
He is
amazing
with his rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Another question for you.
Okay. Yep.
What would you love to see come out of your work?
More love, more food.
More love, more food.
I mean, yeah, where you know, whether you're next door neighbor or you're at church, you know, you're thinking about the welfare of others. You're, you know, if you know that they're hungry or homeless, or like there's more people who are just thinking about others and just giving, you know, because the more that you give, it's all circular. It comes around, you know, what comes around goes around. It's real talk and manifestation, you know, so yeah. And again, like I mentioned earlier, just really rethinking partnerships and collaborations and how do we truly transform the system, you know, or create new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel Pratt from Sweetwater Foundation said that we've been struggling so long that we have already in some way created our own systems. And perhaps we may need to practice those, you know, more so that we're actually bringing in new systems that really help us to bring what is needed for us versus other people making decisions for us. That agency thing that you talked about.
Agency thing that we were just talking about.
I know that underutilized word that I usually never use, but I get it. Yeah, so definitely more growing, more teaching, you know, just to share, having skill shares where people can share what they know with other people, right? It doesn't have to be traditional schools. It could be, you know, in community centers. So I feel like an opportunity to learn new things for folks, whether it's a young person or someone coming out of prison who is going to be a lot more likely, or at least more difficult to get a job. And in particular, if you're a person of color, and in particular, if you're a Black man, you know, so let's share some skills. Let's share what we have. You know, it's a blessing and a gift that we've been given. We don't own it, you know?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, a lot more of that.
A lot more of that.
Yeah, a lot more kids growing.
More shared growing, less ownership, more love.
Absolutely. Positively. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like, every day, you know, we have an opportunity to continue doing that. So like when COVID first hit here, you know, we were asking ourselves in terms of the enterprise, like bringing it to markets, we're not doing that. Some of the restaurants weren't ordering because they couldn't, they were closed. And so we had to decide what we wanted to do. And we decided to feed people. So our market was every Friday from 3 to 5, and it was pay what you can or nothing at all. You know, and just give away some turkeys, but also like making sure that when you come here, if you don't have money, you don't feel bad. You come up, you say what you want, and you get it, you know, so that no one is made to feel embarrassed about their circumstances, you know. And so, you know, we've just been doing a lot more of that, you know.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to take away anyone's personhood.
No, and sometimes people don't realize how they do that, you know, which is why a lot of people don't ask for help when they need it. And so having an opportunity to create a space where people feel okay with asking for what they need, you know, I think is also important. Yeah.
Any advice on how to create more of those spaces?
I mean, for sure. Supporting other people's projects, like, you know, collaboration, I feel like. And then also in terms of resources, shared resources, figuring out what funding or initiatives are available in order for us to kind of come together and continue to grow and build. You know, I feel like that's, really primary. So we're not all fighting for crumbs, you know, and Yeah, we really achieve the things that we think about as we utilize the data that supports that our people struggle with health problems. So it's like, actually, let's really get there and keep getting in and get there together. So if we can do that, which I think we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think it's been ingrained in us a little bit. So kind of used to that struggle, used to struggling by yourself.
Yeah.
Individual organization. And so if we can give up a little piece of that and add that to another pocket of a place that we can work on some stuff together, so that truly in 10 years, even if we're not here or another organization is not here, our community looks a whole lot healthier, and we've achieved things by doing that, so.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would love to bring up the idea of collective care, which is something that is very central to all ACEs, where we just, it's exactly what it sounds like. We really just do what needs to be done to care for each other, whether that's taking the time, the space we need, stepping up to support other team members and playmakers, and just being as human as possible. And I think that is something that you've really brought up a lot during our conversation that I've really appreciated. And I would love to know how you think that maybe collective care shows up in farming and in what the Urban Farming Institute does.
I say that, when I think about Maddie and everything that's going on with COVID, that I just wish her family happiness and healthiness, right? That like, you're in my thought, that we really think about each other, and that, for me, not going to sleep, like worrying about whether or not you're hungry. When you talk about collective care, you have to have like a thought about folks, and then to, leave a job, and at the end of that job, you go to sleep and you probably just had a good meal when someone else hasn't. So I feel like any way that we can do that, even little things. So like we have like this little savings program, me and Sabrina, who has Sabrina's Garden, who came through our program, but we have this little love jar. So we put whatever little money that we make on the side, we put it in the love jar. And if anyone needs anything, or she needs anything, I need anything, we have this love jar that like supports. And I feel like if we can magnify that times, exponentially, then we can just have this, jug of love, like, and things that, but it's really the thoughtfulness around that you have about people, that, you have a real concern for the welfare of others, and in your immediate circle, always looking out, and you can't do everything, and sometimes for some people it can be overwhelming, just that at the end of the day, your welfare is important. How you be is important. It might not be correct grammar, but so I think the collective care is really the collective love, like how you like see people, and is it good for you to go to sleep knowing that you have a good meal and a nice home and it's warm, and that your neighbor is struggling, so I feel like the more that we invite ourselves to the possibility of connecting, we have. So then now I think about Maddie, or Enrico, you know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like it's more of that, and it's and the more that we can share that, I don't know, it might be a kind of a cool, crazy phenomenon that happens. Like, I don't know, it could be a fun thing that we do, like a project.
I think that I feel a fun, crazy project coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely that. And yeah, I think COVID has taught us a lot of things. And we matter. People in our community, who are struggling matter, and in whatever way we can, help to alleviate, the pain and suffering, I think the better off that we all are in the end, the stronger we are together. So.
Yes, absolutely. Going into Thanksgiving week, well, not going into it, we're in Thanksgiving week. Do you have any 2 cents on how to practice being more caring and more thoughtful of others in this time where food disparity is so apparent?
making sure your neighbor has a piece of that turkey even the day after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and just being sensitive to, other people. But yeah, it's a crazy time, So I would just, along the same lines is, do the people who are closer to you have food? And what can you share from what you have, so that they know that that you're thought about, and that that you matter, and your belly being full matters. So share what you have if you can. I would definitely say share what you have if you can, and it could be the day after. Huh?
No, I was just saying that is such an important thought, just making sure that if every person made sure that everyone that they cared about had food, then
Yeah, I'll probably solve a whole lot of family problems.
yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I think that's a good way to see. And also just really, I got to remind myself of what to be grateful for. Mm-hmm. There's so many things to be grateful for. Mm-hmm. That I'm alive, that I can have this interview with you guys, to be able to share the work that we do here at the Urban Farming Institute, and also just my love for people, my love for the land, and, it's a blessing. And so I don't want to take that for granted at all. And yeah, Enrico, he probably can't hear me, but I didn't, the 2 inches.
I keep trying to readjust myself, but I think we've done great.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, we've talked a lot today. And the last question that I want to ask is what you think the future of farming could look like for everyone, for yourself and for everyone.
I mean, definitely would love to quote my husband when he was doing a video. He said, I think we've only scratched the surface. Mm-hmm. And then he also was giggling, and he was like, I think we need a lot more land, giggle, giggle. So I definitely think, more land, more farms, more food, and also just more people, looking out for people, and sharing what we have. And yeah, in terms of equity, just, if you got a skill set, share it. If you can offer up some things that for the next man or woman's life, they'll just be that much more able to, advocate for themselves, and, really realize and discover their own sense of agency, and so definitely a lot more farmland, a lot more teachers, supporting people who have the skills that they can share with others, giving people platform, like you guys are over here doing, but really giving a platform for folks to have an opportunity to learn, grow, and prosper. So definitely, and again, just reemphasizing stronger collaborations, meaningful partnerships, and really taking a look at ourselves as a community. And we can't keep defining for what people need, because someone's going to get left out. And the ones who are really making decisions, aren't they're good, right. So just making sure people are good in any way that one can, and small things matter, and everything that goes around comes around. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We scratched the surface, and we need
more. Yeah, actually he did it so excitedly. It was so cool. He was like, and I think we need a lot more land. But yeah, no, we are only scratching the surface in many ways. Some things we know and have come to understand through our own experiences in life, and there's so much more to learn. And there are some fundamental things that we do know about equity and, and justice, right, to our very core set. And so really continue to tap into that place and remind yourself of your why, and keep pushing. And I feel like the universe will help and support that effort. Yeah, and just keep moving, keep it going, and why not? There should be a show on the why not.
No, we should change the name of this.
No. Just as a theme.
The theme. Why not?
Yes, why not?
Okay. That can be maybe our next one.
Okay, sure. Yeah. The brother who you mentioned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If he's watching this, Eric Jackson, you're coming on with us next.
For sure.
No, I think that'll be a great conversation. And I actually need to connect the two of you via email still. So I will do that.
Sounds great. No stress, no pressure for sure. But I definitely, appreciate the opportunity to share,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, national programming, international.
International program.
Yeah, you guys are great. I feel like, this is really wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on here and doing this for the first time with me. I couldn't appreciate you any more than I do right now. So
thank you. And I would say here's the first times and many more times.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, in Colorado, we were actually going to go this year to visit our graduates that I had mentioned, Esmeralda, who used to work here, and for their retreat. So hopefully everything is good with them. But I definitely plan on making a trip there with a crew of people.
Well, when you do, please let me know.
I will. Yes. Yes.
So fun.
Cool.
Okay. I guess in the last 30 seconds that we have together, do you have any last things that you want to say? Shamelessly plug about yourself or?
No, I would just say, live, love, grow, and share. The more that we share, the more that comes around to support, people. So not really, just excited about the future.
Me too.
I'm like, yo, people be like, yeah, we're gonna be like this for for a good. And I'm like, no, I'm not having that in my thought at all. I'm like, yo, 2021, change
around the corner. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to. I'm very much aware of what's happening with COVID, and I just don't want to have that be, the thing that keeps me from learning and growing, and from prospering in life. So I'm definitely hoping for a better 2021. And I look forward to all the things that the universe has for us.
Yeah.
Appreciate the time. And on behalf of the Urban Farming Institute Farm Team, we appreciate you and are grateful to have this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you. And on behalf of All Aces, this was All Aces on Air. Thank you so much for joining us.
Woo-hoo. Thank you.
You've been listening to Intentionally Act Live from our website, intentionallyact.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Submit your stories and questions for future episodes by emailing us at info@allacesinc.com. Until next time.